Sounds enable you to hear things, at least if you have normal hearing. But how do sounds do this? Well, think about it. What kinds of things can you hear? You can hear things like birds, and dogs, or a water fountain. But whenever you hear such things, you also hear sounds. You might realize that it's only because of these sounds that you're able to hear anything at all. In our experience of the world, sounds act as perceptual mediators. They're objects of perception that make other things audible, like rowdy dogs or splashing water. Consider what would happen if you removed every sound. Things would go silent. Of course, there's nothing special about that. But to a philosopher of perception, this situation reveals something interesting. In auditory experience, sounds uniquely play a really important function. It is the sounds around us that make the rest of the world heard. Now, what does this special status of sounds make possible? And here's what I think. Because sounds are perceptual mediators, they can fulfill a representational function as well. Not only can sounds make it that you hear the dog down the street, but sometimes sounds also allow you to hear things that aren't present to you at all. And it's because of that they can be perceptual representations. Here's how that works. Nowadays, it's incredibly easy to play back sounds using a computer or a smartphone. These devices contain technology to play back sounds that were recorded earlier in time. When you listen to a playback of a piano concert, think about what you can hear. Well, it's more or less what people could hear when the event took place. You can hear a pianist playing a piano, maybe you can hear someone coughing in the back of the hall. But you can hear these things in a way the original audience could not. Why is that? Well, when you listen to a recording, you don't need to have a piano or a pianist around. Well, the original audience certainly did. To put it somewhat technically, playing back a sound recording allows you to revive an earlier state of audibility in a way that no longer constitutively involves the original source. Now, some philosophers have claimed that you can perceive only what is present to you. And others say instead that, strictly speaking, perception never depends on the presence of its objects, because all perception is representational. The way I'm thinking about the role sounds play in auditory experience shows that there might be a middle way. Perhaps the only genuine cases of perceptual representation require some sort of technological intervention, such as the replaying of a sound using a smartphone. Of course, you could try to push my point further. Someone might try to show that also when you hear the dog down the street, the sounds that reach your ears act as representations. I don't think that conclusion follows from what I have said about sound recording technology and what it makes possible. But it is an interesting question what further assumptions are needed to infer validly from my conclusions the claim that all hearing is representational. In my paper, Sounds as Perceptual Mediators, I say a little more about these further assumptions. And I also say a lot more about what makes the relation between sounds and sources representational when it is. So go read it. But first, after watching this video, just pause and listen to the sounds around you. What do they allow you to hear? Do you think that technology is essential in making a form of representational hearing possible? Do you think that we could develop technology to record and play back smells? And what about vision? Can you find in visual experience anything that parallels this special status of sound?